Alright, welcome back everybody. Protobro here, Infamous Brother Mega Bro. Continuing on with the Let's Play of the CSA for Ageod Civil War II. I'm going to start with Missouri and southern Kansas, I think this is over here. So as you can see, we've got Bloomington. We've got a fair amount of artillery here, light artillery albeit, but still we've got a couple 10-pounders. And he's got a little bit of a force here. I'm not worried about this at all. My objective here is just to kind of hold this line here, expand our military control over this railroad, just so that he can't really use it to come in on offensive. Same thing down here with Jefferson City, and then obviously reestablish establish military control here to maintain a good supply line. As you can see, our supply line's decent, but you want to expand it out, because what will happen is even if the enemy puts troops on this rail line, your supply will try to go around to try and provide supply. So it's good to have military control on the left and right of whatever your primary supply line is going to be. So that being said, right, I'm going to get here, 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 and over here. I do want to move and connect Springfield with Bloomington using this rail line, so that'll be an objective. I am besieging Springfield right now. We did beat off Sherman. I think he perhaps must have been pretty exhausted from his march. That's part of the reason why we perhaps succeeded there. We did cross a river, so I was surprised to actually win that. I am bringing Shelby over to unite with Forrest, so two badass cavalry commanders, uniting them. And then once we take Springfield, I'm probably going to split Shelby and Forrest off again, give them cavalry brigades, and go harass the enemy. As you can see, I mean, there's a lot of territory to cover here, so the best way, in my opinion, to do that is to tear up the rail lines and put troops behind choke points, like up in here, behind the river, and so forth. My challenge is going to be I don't have a lot of troops. I mean, I've got, in the Army of the Tennessee, for example, I've only got, let me see here, not even 9,000 troops in the Army of the Tennessee. I mean, that is small. And then the corps that I have back at them has only got 66, so that's like 15,000 troops in the Army of the Tennessee to cover this whole swath of land. Very problematic, so I'm going to have to use my cavalry pretty effectively to harass any kind of push by the Union to reclaim here. I'm going to try and hold the line from at least Tolono down for now, eventually expanding up to perhaps Chicago. Taking Chicago and then just kind of holding just north of Toledo and have the rail line here. That would be a very long-term objective. Right now, I just want to try and keep my armies close. Try and keep the Tennessee as close to the Mississippi as possible. So, speaking of the Mississippi, down in Kentucky, we do have we have Johnston's corps, who again, he's not that great of a corps commander. He's all right. He's more effective, in my opinion, as a brigade commander, even though he is a 2-star. The reason I say that is he only has 3 strategic value, whereas Bragg's got 5. Now Bragg's got some very negative modifiers that come with him leading a stack. That's why I don't have him leading it. But for now, the helpful thing with the corps is that him and Johnston can support Johnson, and vice versa. And Bragg's only got 5,200 troops in that army, and then we've only got 9,400 in the Mississippi. So again, small armies. About 10,000 in the Army in the Mississippi, 15,000 in the Army in Tennessee. I'm doing what I can to bolster that, but cash is, I'm hard up right now for cash. So what I'm trying to do to rectify that is I'm playing a few cards, requisition cards. Let me show you real quick here. So the problem with these is you lose 10 loyalty, 10 military control, a victory point, and 2 development points. But you don't lose national morale, which is, in my opinion, the most important factor in the game. So I'm plunking these down in locations that I'm kind of like, it's not really in a supply line. That doesn't really produce much supply for my country, so on and so forth. So where did I plunk him? For example, right here, I'm doing it. Again, he's kind of off the way. He's not in the mail rail line, all that stuff. So I plunked down a couple like that just to get some cash. Also, we did take Nevada here. No, where's it at? Yeah, so we took Nevada. So this is now mine. So that'll be some much needed money. And then I think my blockade runners are about ready to go back out. So that'll get me a little bit more money. Why is he... Here, let me get him out of there. He's not recovering for whatever reason, so we'll put him there. And we'll take him, and it looks like he's almost... So the problem was I didn't have any more raider ships. Oh man, I need to build another one of those. So I built some more, and then apparently he just sucked up some more, and those things are expensive. I'm half tempted just to send him out like that. I might lose those. See, the whole fleet's hurting. Well, sending some is better than none, so we're gonna send him over just to get some more, a little bit more money in cash while I replenish my brigs. Down here, he's just, I don't know what he's doing, but I'm annoyed, so I'm gonna go down and wipe him out, hopefully. So we're gonna deal with that. I don't have to, but it's just, he annoys me, so I'm gonna go deal with it. Knoxville, we've got locked down pretty good, so here's what we got in Knoxville. I'm moving him around with cavalry because he's a fast mover. I'm going to move him. He's got 4 strategic also. Put him up here. And then use him to assist in my push up into Kentucky. I want to get Shelby or Forrest down here to help with that. But this is also a lot of land, so I need to make sure I tear those rail lines. Otherwise, I may find myself facing a very considerable push from the Union. So here's what I got holding down Munfordville for now. I'm going to bring a general up and basically get the cohesion under control here. But I just need to cover my rear while I've got my corps and my army up in here. Not too worried about it, but you know, it's good to have something here. I'm going to bring a 2-star actually here and make him another corps. That way all 3 can support each other. And probably next turn, depending on what I can see here, I may push on Louisville. For some reason I can't. Let me put him in with that. So hopefully I can get better vision on that with the cavalry. So I've got partisans here in Harrison's. I put them down with the card and turn up the rail line and get them out of there real quick. Hopefully to delay any kind of advance on supporting Louisville. I'm moving some cavalry over here to again tear up the rail line over here to again hopefully delay any kind of reinforcements to Louisville. I've got the Army of the Mississippi moving on to here, and then I'll have them too, and we'll see what we can do. I don't have as big of a force here as I'd like, but we'll see what happens. Here's what I have back in Bowling Green. I'm going to bring a general up obviously to lead that. Here's what I have in this fort, pulling back with these 2 guys. Just to anchor down my left flank to keep him from pushing in my rear. Alright, here's Salem, here's Johnston, here's Springfield, and then finally over in the east, I figured out what the heck happened. God, it was just a boneheaded mistake on my part. The reason my guys weren't fighting together was that Jackson and Longstreet were still attached to Beauregard, who was down here. So I didn't have them attached to the Army of the Shenandoah. So I actually got really fortunate to win that battle that they fought together, because they were not moving to the sound of guns because they were not a part of the same army and corps. So I fixed that, as you can tell. And so now I'm moving Jackson up here and so on and so forth. So I'll have this nice line, and then we'll have to assess the situation and see what we can do offensively, if anything. Let's go through the battles here, see if there's anything major to look at. So we got a national morale from the from this, which is kind of funny because he was 1 division. Whatever. It was, yeah, we kicked his butt. So we had 33,000 troops. So we got a national morale from that though. So hooray! Alright, so then we had this battle here. So again, no moving to the sound of guns because the corps were not attached to them. So we actually got really lucky that we only lost 1,500 guys from that. So got 2 national morale, beautiful. So we got 3 total for this turn from all the Leesburg engagements. And as you can see here, 43,000 troops versus 37,000 doesn't happen very often when the Confederacy outnumbers the Union. We captured equipment. Very good. So we got 1 war supply. Okay. Well, whoop-de-doo. I really need money. That's what I need. I need money. It was 2 hours of battle, so started off with 2 divisions, and then moving to the sound of gun. Or then Jackson showed up because we had him moving down. That's also why the synchronized movement wasn't working. Duh. Because they weren't attached to the Army of the Shenandoah, which I wish I could change that name to the Army of Northern Virginia. But so there you go. So we inflicted 115 on the second hour of the battle. So 129 total. He suffered 90. He inflicted 91. He lost more troops than we did, and so on and so forth. So cool. Good. I'm moving the Army of the Potomac up here, just so I have a corps and an army supporting for now, because I don't quite know what to do with this other army just yet. I created it so that I wouldn't suffer a national morale penalty for kind of firing Beauregard, so to speak, because he does have more seniority than Lee. At least he did. Now Lee's probably got 1. I probably will move an army over here at some point, because I think I really need 2 armies to cover this front. I just don't have enough troops for it. So, okay, let's proceed with the next turn, because that's all I need to really show you for now, and see how things go. I gotta be honest with you, I did not expect to even get up close to Louisville when I started pushing into Kentucky. I kind of expected to take Munfordville, distract him, and then have him bring down his forces to Munfordville to deal with me. So I'm still reluctantly optimistic about Kentucky. As long as I can hold the Bowlingville river line there, I'll be good. Right down here, I'll be happy. This is icing. All right. Welcome back, everybody. Protobro here, infamous brother Mega Bro. Continuing on with the Let's Play of the CSA for Ageod Civil War II. I'm going to start with Missouri and Southern Kansas. I think this is over here. So as you can see, we've got Bloomington. We've got a fair amount of artillery here, light artillery albeit, but still we've got a couple 10-pounders. And he's got a little bit of a force here. I'm not worried about this at all. My objective here is just to kind of hold this line here, expand our military control over this railroad, just so that he can't really use it to come in on offensive. Same thing down here with Jefferson City. And then obviously establish military control here to maintain a good supply line. As you can see, our supply line's decent, but you want to expand it out. Because what will happen is even if the enemy puts troops on this rail line, your supply will try to go around to try and provide supply. So it's good to have military control on the left and right of whatever your primary supply line is going to be. So that being said, right, I'm going to get here, and then over here. I do want to move and connect Springfield with Bloomington using this rail line, so that'll be an objective. I am besieging Springfield right now. We did beat off Sherman. I think he perhaps must have been pretty exhausted from his march. That's part of the reason why we perhaps succeeded there. We did cross a river, so I was surprised to actually win that. I am bringing Shelby over to unite with Forrest, so 2 badass cavalry commanders, uniting them. And then once we take Springfield, I'm probably going to split Shelby and Forrest off again, give them cavalry brigades, and go harass the enemy. As you can see, I mean, there's a lot of territory to cover here, so the best way, in my opinion, to do that is to tear up the rail lines and put troops behind choke points, like up in here, behind the river, and so forth. My challenge is going to be I don't have a lot of troops. I mean, uh-oh. Damn rail line. I gotta cut that. That's kind of stupid. He wants to get that gold back. I really want Springfield because it's got an arsenal, it's got money, it's got supply. It's going to be a place that could really benefit my overall production. Okay, so I'm going red here at Springfield, going all in. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, so Springfield all in, bringing this fine gentleman up here. We did go across, we took this area, so now I'm going to use this river, come over, support Forest to finally, hopefully take Springfield. I'm getting a little nervous here because we're starting to run low on supply, and he's starting to bring up support. So I'm going to take this out as quick as I can so I can resolve that issue. Not too worried about leaving St. Louis a little undefended because I've got the rail line here where I could bring support back. I've got the river. I've got this redoubt or stockade, and I'm also building a little bit more here. So I think we'll be fine, at least for the short term. Spreading out, trying to get military control here, get supply up to Bloomington. I do have this hole right here right now that I need to plug. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tear up the rail line up in this area. That way he can't come in. I've already kind of sealed off the east and a little bit of the southeast. And over time, I'm just going to keep tearing up all this rail line because I don't need it, at least for now. I'm going to stop pushing in the northwest here, at least going to the east from here. This will be my line of defense for now. I am pushing on Louisville, so I've got the Army of the Mississippi pushing up. I've got the Corps under Johnson pushing up. And then I created a new corps here under Forney, which is going to be in the rear. And my hope is all three of them will kind of work in conjunction to take Louisville. Moving my cavalry up in this area to tear up these rail lines to stop any kind of defense from coming in. I broke off a small little detachment to hopefully take, or at least defend, this region with this river here until I can take Louisville. I am bringing Kirby Smith up to Munfordville just as a precaution. I think for now Bowlingville's safe, so I think we'll be good here. Breckenridge, I'm going to go back on the attack. He decided to abandon it, so I'm going to go back there, hopefully take it. He's besieging Paducah, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if he meant to land more troops in this and just they got sunk trying to go up the river here, but he's trying to take it, so I'm just playing it safe. I'm consolidating some of my forces here to sweep him out. Down here, he's got like nothing, so I'm going to obliterate him, get him out of there. That way I can get these guys back into my rapid response force. And then up here, we've got everything solidified down, so probably going to hold this down for now. I don't know if he's trying to push from West Virginia, though, so I'm bringing Stewart over, really kind of stop him a little bit, also though to get some eyeballs on what he actually has here. That way I have a better idea of what I'm looking at. John B. Hood has taken the field, which is awesome. He is reckless, which is fine, whatever. Alright, welcome back everybody. Protobro here, infamous brother Megabro. Continuing on with the Let's Play of the CSA for Ageod Civil War II. I'm going to start with Missouri and southern Kansas, I think this is over here. So as you can see, we've got Bloomington. We've got a fair amount of artillery here, light artillery albeit, but still we've got a couple 10-pounders. And he's got a little bit of a force here. I'm not worried about this at all. My objective here is just to kind of hold this line here, expand our military control over this railroad, just so that he can't really use it to come in on an offensive. Same thing down here with Jefferson City. And then obviously establish military control here to maintain a good supply line. As you can see, our supply line's decent, but you want to expand it out. Because what will happen is even if the enemy puts troops on this rail line, your supply will try to go around to try and provide supply. So it's good to have military control on the left and right of whatever your primary supply line is going to be. So that being said, right, I'm going to get here, 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 and over here. I do want to move and connect Springfield with Bloomington using this rail line, so that'll be an objective. I am besieging Springfield right now. We did beat off Sherman. I think he perhaps must have been pretty exhausted from his march. That's part of the reason why we perhaps succeeded there. We did cross a river, so I was surprised to actually win that. I am bringing Shelby over to unite with Forrest, so two badass cavalry commanders, uniting them. And then once we take Springfield, I'm probably going to split Shelby and Forrest off again, give them cavalry brigades, and go harass the enemy. As you can see, I mean, there's a lot of territory to cover here, so the best way, in my opinion, to do that is to tear up the rail lines and put troops behind choke points, like up in here, behind the river, and so forth. My challenge is going to be I don't have As much as I wanted to hold him there and actually push forward and try and take that stockade on the way up to California, I decided not to because I just don't have the supply. So I'm bringing my artillery up to western Arizona, and I'm going to hold that with some militia and light mounted infantry. So basically as much as I can have survive out there on the supply line, and I'm moving Baylor back to Santa Fe. I wanted to keep them up there, but I don't have the supply. I'm going to end up freaking starving my guys to death if I try and go on the more on the offensive. Alright, here we go. By the way, up there in Springfield, I used a landmine to cause a breach, and apparently it worked. Alright, so banner of Louisville. Did we actually take it? I don't know. He didn't have much there. Yeah, so this is the dude trying to take Paducah. Kind of silly, but gotta take threats at like Paducah and some other key locations very seriously, because lose that and I'm in dire straits. Alright, so he has got a lot of troops in Virginia, or on the border of Virginia and Maryland. So there's my cavalry right there. Seal off the rail line here so he can't bring down support and hit me in my right flank. What I want to do is I want to force him to cross the river if he wants to attack Louisville. So again, here's all this. He's using this rail line to move all these troops. That's why I need to tear this up. Looks like we got a frigate down in one of those boxes. These freaking holes in my line are aggravating. I'm going to seal it up. Alright, so it looks like he's lining up to hit Harper's Ferry. He's going to try and hit my left flank, it looks like. Okay, so a whole bunch of battles occurred this round, so let's go through them really quick. As you can see, we did take Springfield. So we had Nathan Bedford leading the attack. We were red, so all in attack. We had Hoke, who's a 422 general, and then Shelby, who is a, I think, 644. Very impressive stats. So here's the battle results. We only lost 369 troops, which is actually really impressive considering we're on the offensive. And he lost everybody. We either killed or captured his entire force, which is awesome. Notice here we breached the walls, performed admirably, pretty much like... we'd have a little bit of bad luck here, but what's funny, if you go through this, it was 4 hours of battle, and each round, if you look at Shelby, he's all cavalry, so which is never a good idea because you can't really absorb a lot of hits, but I feel like I needed the little additional oomph, but it actually worked out because every round, almost, he inflicts hits and cohesion, doesn't suffer any hits or cohesion at all, which is great. Part of the reason I think we got away with that is he didn't have any divisions or anything else that was going on here. But overall, like, we performed really well. Didn't suffer a whole lot of hits, as this indicates. So I'm not going to go through this too much in detail, but it was pretty much a rout. It's great. So as you can see, we have Springfield. Now he does have this force up here threatening our far left flank of our western line here. So I'm going to move quickly, hopefully, here to deal with that. Let's go through these here. Again, he's only got 1,600 troops down here. He's cut off from supply. I'm really not threatened by him at all. So I whipped him pretty good. I was thinking about going after him, but it's going to take me a lot of days to get down there. So I'm just leaving a little small force here. Entrench, and if he wants to try and attack me again, fine. I doubt he'll succeed, and even if he does, I got the rail system and I come right back down here and deal with him, so I'm not too worried about it. Johnston up here, we whipped Nelson pretty good. We've got a boatload more troops, so that wasn't a surprise. That's up here, so we're now sieging Louisville, pushed him into town. I do have a corps here supporting Johnston. I've got down here in Munfordville, I've got Kirby Smith's force just holding down my supply in my rear. And then I've got this force here just kind of holding down this river to make sure he can't bring reinforcements across. However, I do now have Johnson, who's a 4-2-3? Yeah, 2 stars. So I'm going to bring him down, make him a corps just to support Johnston as well in the event he gets attacked. I've got Walker up here. I'm going to keep him around, trying to tear up this rail line to also force him to have to attack across the river if he wants to come across. I did tear up this rail line with some partisans, so it's going to be very difficult for him to get across either way. So hopefully it'll give me enough time to take Louisville. That was just a little dude hanging around here. He's just a little gnat, so I'm just kind of chasing him around, destroying him, getting some free experience for Zalgifer, who's a terrible general, but whatever. We did lose our cavalry over here in this area, so he moved in here and whacked our cavalry pretty good, unfortunately. And this is another battle, so he came across the river, I think trying to support Nelson before I got to Louisville, and so we whacked him pretty good there too. So what happened was I think he was coming across to support Nelson before we came into Louisville, but we moved into Louisville first, took out Nelson, and then because we were already here when he came across, we whacked him. So he's definitely consolidating forces to try and keep me from getting Louisville. So I'm doing what I can. So we'll see. Now, I'm kind of torn here. I'm trying to decide with Breckenridge if I should go across and take this, because it's a nice little river defense against here. I ultimately want to push my defensive line out to this area. Plus, really, if they want to try and take me, they'll have to use the river, which I'm hoping to take Louisville. I'll go across this open terrain. Until such time as they take that, they can always rail down here and then go across the river and kind of hit me in the rear. So, I don't know if his forces are going to be better used over here helping take Louisville, or if I should just do this. And I'm thinking do this because I'm thinking by the time he marches down here, hits the rail, all that stuff, it's probably going to be too late. I could probably bring Kirby Smith up, though, to be honest. Let's do that. Let's take him out of this stack. So we keep the entrenchment there. And I'm going to bring him up to support Johnston. I'm going to go all in, because I don't know what he's bringing down, and it could be pretty considerable. So it's I want to get Louisville sooner rather than later. So then up here, he's got a pretty sizable force. Looks like a division and a brigade. So, and Jefferson C. Davis has got pretty good stats, 543. I don't know if he's part of a corps. And he's getting bonuses from Grant or Fremont or a 3-star somewhere. So moving Shelby over here to secure this rail line, give me a continuous rail line presence here. I don't have a big enough force here right now, I think, to repel this, but we'll see. So what I'm doing is I'm rallying up right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move. I've pieced off some forces from Army of the Tennessee and Ruggles. I'm leaving Ruggles here to maintain the fortifications. I'm bringing the Army of the Tennessee up to here by rail. I'm also bringing John B. Hood and another series of forces up in here. Not here. I was originally going to do it here, but I'm going to do it here to strengthen here. And then what I'm going to do between these two forces, I'm going to whack him, hopefully. I'm going to promote Forrest to 2-star. Now, as you can see here, we're going to suffer a little bit of national morale and victory points because Huger is not going to be happy about this. However, I think it's worth it. It's a 663 general forest. He's a military genius, and for whatever reason, it won't let me promote Huger right now. I've pulled him out. It won't let me promote him. So, whatever. I'll take the hit. I think it's worth it with forest because then I can attach him to the Army of the Tennessee, and it allows me to continue pushing with the initiative. Right now, I've kind of got the Union on the heels, and I don't want to do anything to jeopardize that. So, I think it's worth making him a 2-star. It hurt. The national morale hit hurts. I'm going to take actually a 3-hit national morale this turn because I'm also dumping a bunch of money into, or I'm raising taxes, which costs 2 morale, and I'm issuing war bonds, which doesn't cost me morale, but does cost me victory points. But I'm really hurting on cash. I had to go in and spend a lot of money on reinforcement pool right this turn, because you can see I'm kind of hurting across the board. Artillery, same thing. I've got some 20-pounders that have took a pounding over in Virginia that can't get reinforced until I put money into that. So I need more cash. I'm getting to the point here where I've got a pretty extensive defensive line and I don't have enough troops to cover it. So I've got to do something about that. Virginia, I want to go on the offensive. I kind of want to punch through here, which would really freak him out. But he's got this 4,400 stack here that he can just rail down to DC. It exposes my center pretty considerably. I'm already under force here compared to what I'm facing. So I'm just going to have to hold pat for now. Maybe over the winter build up a sizable force that in early 63 perhaps I can go on the offensive over there. But I don't want to ruin a good thing. So I can promote Jackson and Longstreet, but I'm not going to because they do lose some stats. And they're doing quite well the way they are. This guy down here I'm not worried about because, again, if I could take this over here, it's going to cut off his supply. So he can hang out down there all he wants, so I don't care. And then finally, far west. So we took eastern Arizona. I can't really push up because I have no supply here, so I'm kind of pushing everybody out. I don't know why it's doing that. No, we are staying there. I want the artillery here in eastern Arizona. So let's see, what do I need for supply here? 6 per turn, and I think this place produces 8. 1, and yep, so 8 supplies. So we'll get 2 bonus supply a turn here, which is good. Because I think also this guy takes up probably a supply. So that's the best I can do up here, unfortunately. If I had a fort here, perhaps I could put that here and then did that. But I don't know if I want to expend the resources in that just yet. All right, real quick over here. I want to take these forts out, so I'm bringing him up to hopefully siege, take, and then burn these forts. I want to make it as difficult as possible for him to come down into the western Indian territories here in Missouri. He does have a little bit of a presence, but I'm not too worried. Here's my defensive line. Here's Springfield. And then over here, I'm pulling some resources off my Missouri or my St. Louis and other areas here to just get a little bit of beachhead here. I do own this currently, but it's undefended. I'm going to want to push across and combine and bring Springfield in connection with Bloomington, but I don't want to really fight for it, which I may have to do if I don't have a little bit of beachhead. So I'm just going to secure this, use this to take Quincy. Rather than go across the river. But I just want to put some troops here for now. I'm probably going to use Shelby to do that. So right now I'm going to secure this and then probably next turn bounce back, take that, and then combine these two. So I have one seamless rail connection so that I can funnel troops back and forth. And then here's the military control. So, so far, so good. Again, I don't know what the Union's got back here. And all this rail system allows them to muster a boatload of troops really quick into one area. So I'm pleased with the way things are going, but things can change really quick. Finally, I got Richard here. So the great thing with this guy is not only does he have awesome stats, 422, but he's a training officer. So he trains up 2 regiments of conscripts every turn. If you go into the recruitment tab, under infantry, there's a couple states that recruit strictly conscripts. So Florida can do 2 conscripts. You can get 3 stacks of those. 3 cards of those. Alabama can do 5 cards of the 2 conscripts, and Louisiana can do 4. So I'm going to train up all these guys with Taylor. So first I'm going to start with Alabama. So I'm moving him up here. And Alabama recruits all right here. And then once I recruit all these guys, I'm going to recruit all these guys, and so on and so forth. The great thing with them is they don't have artillery batteries attached to them. So it makes them a much more effective offensive card because I can mix and match artillery much more effectively. And so when I go on the offensive, it's not as impactful on my cohesion as it would be otherwise. Finally, I'm moving partisans up here to rip up the rail, and we're ripping up the rail up here because this is where I really see a counteroffensive occurring. It's going to be hard for him to push through in the middle here because I've done a pretty good job ripping up the rail line. He can still come from up here though. So he can come like to here and then rail up here and then rail on down, which is kind of what he's already doing, as you can see. So I'm trying to do as best I can to get rid of that rail and then also deal with this threat now before it gets any bigger. The last thing I need is a strong, heavy push by the Union from down here, pushing me all the way back down to Salem and St. Louis. So, all right. And hopefully you'll see too, being this far into Union territory in the Western Theater, Johnston, he did not make his activation roll. That could be problematic. He misses his activation roll a lot. It's pretty annoying. Anyways, it's you can see all this rail. It's awesome for the Union because, I mean, you can really go a lot of different places with it. That being said, if the Confederacy punches a hole through Cairo like we did and takes St. Louis and pushes up, if I can seize these rail lines myself, why is he red? He's supposed to be blue. Oh, that's stupid. He's supposed to be blue. I don't know why I did that. Anyways, so it allows you to hit a lot of different places at one time too, so you really don't want the Confederacy getting back in behind your lines like I have here, because you can do a lot of damage, as you've seen, to the logistic system to the Union. He's supposed to be on the defensive. I don't know why he got... I could have sworn I switched him back, which I'm worried about because I could see him attacking us this turn, possibly. He's got a lot of forces up there. Ooh. We're going to have to whack him pretty quick here. Alright, good. Switch back. Okay, good. Oh, there he goes. Smart move. Oh, he's running. Ooh, interesting. Oh, by the way, I didn't show you. So remember that artillery that was right there that was in our hole, in our line? My cavalry actually captured 2 10-pound batteries. So that's awesome. Ah, okay. Shoot. That's a perfect example of that rail line at work for the Union. So it looks like he's pulling back up there at Springfield. Oof. Some big stacks over there in Virginia. Point Breckham, just stop, go back. too aggressive over there, apparently. I don't want that fight to happen. Oh boy. If I can take Louisville, though, I'll have that'll free up a lot of resources in Kentucky to spread out and establish a pretty solid defensive line.